to do is maybe sort of in an ideal situation, stand up here in front of you and say, we knew what we were looking for, we knew how to ask for it, it was delivered, and we're now using it. But unfortunately, that's not the case. And I'm sure with a lot of clients who are involved in delivering projects using BIM, we're not exactly sure what we need. To say that this was an unconventional method of delivery is doing injustice to what actually happened. We were very fortunate that we had RKD and VAM involved to sort of, in some sense, hold our hands and bring us through the process and sort of help us to get to something that we were looking for. Again, something that we didn't know what we wanted to do, and now we've got something which we can't really use. Unfortunately, Paul McConaughey, who was due here today, was going to just run through some of the issues regarding the handed over building and where the IT lay with that. But in terms of, for some reason he's not here today to discuss that. But what I'd like to do is just quickly run through the Grange Corman building itself. It was the first new DIT building on site. It's okay, you can hear me? Is that better? Speak louder, okay. I'll lean forward. Okay. As I said earlier, it's the first new DIT building on the Grange Corman campus. It's 4,250 square metres, and it's a 5-storey building. It had an interesting genesis in terms of its delivery. It was originally the ASHI building, and it was 2,500 square metres. But during the course of the delivery of the project, it increased. There was the hot incubation units, which delivered another 2,000 square metres, which delivered a building for us that was much more in keeping with our SDZ. At the time, we were looking at a much smaller 2-storey building, which would not have been in compliance with the SDZ that had been sort of enforced for the area. But with the HATA's incubation units, we were able to sort of match what we needed in the development plan. We were very fortunate as well that we had actually funding in place for the ASHI part and the hot house incubation. The funding streams came from the HEA through the PR2I5 funding program, and the Enterprise Ireland were delivering money or funding towards the hot house incubation units. The hot house incubation units consist of 24 dedicated offices of various sizes, and including training and seminar facilities. They were also sort of the synergy between the hot house element of the works and the research laboratories was also there, and I was quite fortunate that that marriage was capable of utilising both departments in the same building. Construction started in June 2014 and was completed in October 2015. And as Jerry said, it came in on 2 months ahead of schedule. And the DRT occupied the building in February 2016. Unfortunately, I can't really explain. There's some difficulties with it. Now, just going back, I think the actual procurement for this project started in 2011. But I think we really need to step back from where we are in 2017 and look back to where we were then when we were looking at procuring BIM. It wasn't, at the stage then we were sort of, BIM was in the background. For my own personal development, even before today's presentation, I went back to my own notes to see what I understood of BIM, and essentially it was two journal articles in the RIBA journal, which basically spoke about BIM as a BIM information modelling. It was a technology. It was about producing 3-dimensional drawings and availing of the interoperability and coordination between the different disciplines. So, from my own point of view, coming towards this, it was a case of that the overall process of delivering a BIM project was not known. It was more to do with the actual technology itself and delivering a building on the screen. And the other thing that was concerning us at the time was that we weren't fully convinced that the AEC industry had the uptake of the Revit technology across the board. It wasn't proven that that was the case. There was also a question about the market's ability to deliver BIM. Again, it wasn't proven that it could be done. And the biggest fear we had was alienating the majority of the AEC industry. And we were afraid that if we did, we'd end up with letters from the RIAI, RICIS, CIF, and SIPSI sort of complaining that we were alienating half the sort of consultants in the country because they didn't have BIM as part of the procurement process. And the other issues that we had were we weren't ourselves fully aware. We had no BIM champions, we had no BIM vision, and there was no strategy in place to adopt it. There was also the impenetrability of the BIM jargon and the sort of the multiple procedures that were involved. And that was something that was quite difficult to sort of get your head around, especially when you're sort of looking at OIRs, AIOs, AIMs as a client, and then trying to put that together to deliver a brief. The other thing about this was that it was a two-stage tender process. Essentially, we probably should have gone down the BIM route because we ended up with 23 teams, which were shortlisted to 5 subsequently, and it took about 3 months to do that. In terms of the shortlisted 5, when we did go back out with the invitation to tender documents, again, there was no reference to BIM within those documents. The BIM that did come back was part of the methodology, and it was addressed and evaluated as such. In terms of any scoring, there was no additional scoring given to BIM, but it was acknowledged that it was in there, it was in place. So with that, the second ITT evaluation completed, we proceeded to appoint our design team, which was RKD, in June of 2012. And we had two initial meetings with RKD, and then the DIT GDA had one of their own internal project team meetings, and even though BIM had been helping in the background, it was starting to gain traction in the office. And along with BIM, BIM and budget, we had a discussion on how we might be able to sort of kickstart this, take a leap of faith, jump on the ladder and see if there was some way we could sort of put in some future-proofing for the delivery of BIM. And it was a case of going back to RTD and asking them to sort of consider it. So what we did was we sort of made that decision, and we made a request to the multidisciplinary design team. So in July 2012, we requested BIM, and fortunately RTD sort of said yes, and it was not the full BIM process, but it was more to do with the actual BIM modelling and the BIM technology in sort of producing a three-dimensional package. It was involving coordination across the various disciplines, and it may be used for operations afterwards. Again, we were very much in the, we weren't fully versed in what was happening with BIM at the time, so we were quite happy with that. Essentially, we walked away from that meeting, we had BIM, even it was BIM light or BIM minimum or whatever. We had BIM, and we were able to put a badge on our building to say that we were delivering the research hub as a BIM project. It was the first project on the DIT campus, and it had BIM. And that was the critical sort of message that we needed to get across. So essentially, based on a handshake with our RCD, we were able to sort of accommodate that. But at the same time, in 2013, the PPPs were being developed in the background, and HKTT, we were involved in that, were promoting BIM. So there was this additional sort of ball that was beginning to roll within the agency and the DIT about delivering BIM, and there was discussions going on about what was needed. But we were still, because of the nature of the PPP and the involvement of others, we were sort of slightly divorced from it. So there wasn't a coherent message that was coming from us in terms of what BIM we were looking for. So in November 2013, when we did go out to tender for the Greenway Hub itself, we again were quite sort of light in our experience of what BIM was in terms of the documents we needed. But it was included in the first round of questions, and it was mainly to do with the methodology. How would you see sort of how would you use BIM in terms of delivering the project? So it was a very loose description of the service we were looking for. And then when we did proceed to the ITT for the second stage for the contractors, we were a little bit more elaborate, and we spoke more about the requesting a model at the end of it and a building execution plan, and there was references to protocols. But again, these were not necessarily the normal protocols that you see with the CIPEX or the CIC protocols. It was mainly to do with the management of the model itself, and not necessarily to do with our own contractual relationship with the future winning contractor. So at the end of that process, after sort of another 3 months of trawling through the tender returns and looking at then sort of proposals that were being offered, we in May 2014 appointed BAM and their team to sort of deliver the project. That's better. I can hear myself now. So in May 2014, BAM were appointed to lead the team. Again, at this stage, there was no protocol agreement in place. We had no OIR, we had no AIR, we had no EIR. There was a reference to a building execution plan, and that was about it. And in some ways, I'm not sort of advertising that we were a bit, it was a bit unknown of us, or a bit was to not know about it, but it was something that we wanted, and we were doing our best to get it. So during the course of the construction, BAM used the BIM quite extensively, and it was amazing to sort of go on site and watch people wandering around with little pads and seeing what was on the drawing and on the screen, and then what was actually overlapping with the reality, setting out the ground, setting out spacings and that. So, from their point of view, it was something that we could see the benefit of using. And then towards the end of the contract, we were looking at the handover, and we were talking about the safety files and the asset information models. But what happened in October 2014 was that the safety file was handed over as in CD format, and that we got an asset information model and a Revit model, which was handed over to the GDA and the DIT. But there was a concern there regarding the security of the model, and it's probably something that clients need to sort of address, and it's something that's come up again in PAS 1192 Part 5 regarding security. Essentially, we held on to the asset information model for 6 months until such time as we were sort of comfortable in handing over the information because of what is contained in there, rather than just sort of offering it over as a to the student body or to the DIT itself. There was a concern there that there was a security level that needed to be addressed before that could occur. Even to say to this day, that model is still sitting idle. There's 3 people who have access to it, within the 2 people in the GDA and 1 person in the DIT. So essentially, we asked for something, we got it, it's been delivered, and now we're not able to use it. And Paul McDuffie, who had been here, we would have spoken a little bit more about that. Okay, that's it.